morning, sir. So, my name is Pauline G. Soto from BTVT GFD 1B. So, we are the group 4 to discuss about the genital herpes. So, the introduction about genital herpes, I go research about the information, so I get a lot of information about this disease. So, genital herpes is one of the most common sexually transmitted diseases, STDs. Herpes virus infections actually don't often lead to a disease, though up to 90 out of 100 people who are infected will have either no symptoms or hardly noticeable symptoms. For this reason, experts increasingly refers to herpes as a sexually transmitted infection, STI. Once you have been infected with herpes viruses, they stay in your body for the rest of your life. Oh my gosh, it's so very nakakatakot. So, after we go to next slide, so we can say when we say sexual, let's go back. We say sexually transmitted diseases. So, are infections that are passed from one person to another through sexual contact. The most is usually vaginal, oral, or anal sex, but sometimes they can spread through other intimate physically contact. This is because some STDs like herpes and HPV are spread by skin-to-skin contact. So, makon talaga niya nga sakit, masangit. Dapat mag-ikmat kita kay dapat kun makuha kita at partner, dapat sisiguraduhin ta nga waray niya nga sakit kay makaradlok talaga niya nga sakit, labi na kay makon talaga ya na stay talaga hiya ka imo live, sana all na stay. So dapat kuan good kita hin mag ano tun sering nga be careful na la. So okay, let's move to next slide. If symptoms arise, they can be painful and distressing, but there are treatments that can relieve the symptoms and shorten the outbreaks. If you've had herpes once, it usually keeps coming back. The good news is that herpes outbreaks become milder and less frequent over time. So, nabalik talaga hiya, nagkakambak sana all. So, hindi talaga hiya nawawara, pero nagkuka na lahiyahin, nagiging mild. Der na diya masyadong nalala. So, dapat aton talaga tiya ko magbiling kita hin paraan para mawara ito iya. Dapat makonto kita at doctors kung ano it kuan, paano nato niya ma-prevent. Okay, so let's move on. Herpes simplex viruses or HSV are the most common human pathogens causing infections in orofacial and genital regions. Genital herpes infection is caused by herpes simplex virus 1, HSV1, and herpes simplex virus 2, HSV2. HSV1 mainly causes infections in oral, facial, and ocular regions and in the central nervous system, CNS, and is transmitted during childhood. While in the past, genital herpes infections were mostly caused by HSV2. The orofacial infections were mostly caused by HSV1. HSV1 is reported to cause genital herpes at an increasing rate today, particularly in development countries. So, ang kuan talaga niya, duwa may, so we will discuss it later. It pagkaiba it HSV1 and SHV2. So, one of the most reasons behind the increase in HSV1 included genital herpes cases in developed countries is increased seroprevalence of HSV1 and the fact that the host has not encountered with the virus prior to the onset of sexual activity. Another important reason is suggested to be changing sexual behaviors among the youth, such as oral sex. HSV2 is oral transmitted through sexual contact and causes genital infection. HSV2 may cause orofacial infection as well, which cannot be clinically distinguished from HSV1 included infections. However, HSV2 induced orofacial infections are very rare. So, if you're thinking, how do people get genital herpes? So, they receive oral sex. So, kung nakakakuha ka mo iton may daka mo ka sexual ka oral sex from a partner who has oral herpes or what we call the cold sore. So, dapat kung nagkukang kita patakala kita kuan biskanhin o dili kita maaram nga ito ngay nga tawo may ada nga dinadara nga herpes. So, dapat kuan good kitahin baga kita untaan ay ito nga tawo. Alam pa man pag nagkukuan na ka mo i-check mo iya lawas. So, dapat kuan na kitahin careful na lalawat kita. So, second is they touch a herpes sore and then touch their own genitals. So, asya iton pag nagkukuan, pag may nakakatan ka, so malak sila talaga tiya tumapon sanglit. My God, nakakatakot na pangyayari. So, last is their genitals touch the skin in the genital area of someone who is infected, even if there are no sores. So, biskan wari ngayon sores, basta makuanan mo tiya makaptan. Oh my God, magka-skin to skin ka mo. Nakakakuan talaga ito. Malak sila hiya makatapon. So, dapat kuan nala kitahin. Ibas kita't may mga suga dito. So, also, if you're thinking what is orofacial infection, based on my research, the medical definition of orofacial is relating to the mouth and face. Orofacial abnormalities and orofacial musculature. So, asya ito yung orofacial. Mouth and face. Relating. So, okay. Asya na inin. Herpes simplex viruses, also known as herpes, are classified into two kinds. So, asya ni kuan HSV1 or oral herpes and HSV2 or genital herpes. So, asya na inin. Kuan, when we say oral herpes, is an infection caused by the herpes simplex virus. The virus causes painful sores on your lips, gums, tongue, roof of your mouth, and inside your cheeks. So, maara mo kini nga most sa aton nga naka-experience na inihiya nga nga kuan, nga painful source. Di ba maaram kami tungani nga kuan, nga paso nga nagkakaada nga dit aton may lips. Dani adit aton dila. Nga di ito nga ni nga busag, basta maaram na kami ito nga kuan, ang paso nga ano bang tawag ito nga basta siya na tiya. Paso, basta. Asya na tiya tinatawag nga oral herpes. So, di ba maulul talaga hiya, tapos diri kita natutuhay pagkakaon. Kay baga, basta, mangara-ngara. Asya na ito. So, let's move on to HSV2 or oral genital herpes, I mean. So, as we can say, magkaiba di ba hera? Kaysahan HSV1, aday hatang, mostly aday aton tuludit aton mouth. Asya talaga tiyatuan. So, hankuan naman, HSV2 or genital herpes, aday aton skin. Basta aday aton part of our body. Basta, nakakita na kami ito niya nga, baga, butul-butul nga. Basta malain, baga naglalaway. Oh, as we can see nga, kuan talaga hiya. Basta malain. So, asya naman diba doon, explain ko on genital herpes is transmitted sexually transmitted disease. Asya ito yung mga disease. Basta kung ano ito later I will discuss who are the people at risk. Okay, let's move on to the next page. Herpes simplex viruses stayed with infected individual lately or lifetime. Their presentation is quite variable depending on the immune condition of the host, site of entry of the virus, and whenever the disease is primary or secondary. Genital herpes infection has some serious results. First of all, HSV is transmitted from the mother to the neonatal, cause serious mortality and morbidity. The second serious risk in the fact that genital herpes infection facilitate human immunodeficiency virus or HIV play a role in the spread of HIV. So, nakakakuan talaga lot kita nakakakus kasi talaga inin kay may da kasi mga tao nga mahilig makipagtalik kaiba-iba nga tao. Asya ini i-discuss ta later kung hinot mga tao nga ada risk. So, okay, let's move on to the next page. So, genital herpes and genital warts are recognized as the main sexual transmitted vital infections that might be acquired by any type of sexual contact. So, this is the risk groups. Magkakada talaga genital herpes. So, there are 4 risk groups. First is adults who have multiple sexual partners, immune-compromised individuals, infants who have infected mothers. Fourth is sexual child abuse. Okay, let's discuss the adults who have multiple sexual partners. So, masasabdan nga kung hino talaga't mahilig magpinanbabayi. Charat. So, balit, when we say adults who have multiple sexual partners, it can spread if you have multiple sexual partners and don't use condoms, including dental dams. So, kung mahilig ka magpinanbabayi na gamit talaga permihin kondom kay dili ka maaram kung hinot imo nakakasex. diri kita maarang nga itungayan nga tawo may gindadara na nga genital herpes. Makulod ba talaga iniya nga disease kay lifetime na talaga niya na stay na talaga niya haimo lawas. Sanglit, purple na lang mga besh. Tigam ni nga genital herpes na stay haimo, may forever ka mo. Pero ay nala makurol ba iton besh. So, second is immune-compromised individuals. And immunocompromised people such as those with advanced HIV infection, HSV1 can have more severe symptoms and more frequent recurrences. Rarely, HSV1 infection can also lead to more severe complications such as encephalitis, brain infections, or keratitis eye infection. So, asya niyan mga immune-compromised individual and may mga daan na nga ni mga sakit. Like, aton may mga kuan na, may mga HIV. So, na talaga yung itira lawas, immune na, sanglit, bagan kuan na laba, iton madali na laba, hera matapnan. So, asya ito nagkakaadherahin durdilain na laba nga sakit. Sanglit, asya ito nagkakaadheran mga severe complications. So, asya ito makulba talaga kay durdilain na lang ang mga kuan, damot yung makukuan ng mga symptoms. So, sanglit dadamo talaga nakukuan sa imo body na imo nasasagip ng mga sakit. So, let's move on to infants who have infected mothers. Babies are most at risk for neonatal herpes if the mother contracts genital herpes late in pregnancy. This is because a newly infected mother does not have antibodies against the virus. So there is no natural protection for the body for the baby during birth. So makaluoy talaga mga baby nganhi kay labi na kun aton kag ana iton mother may adanadaan ba nga kuan nga active herpes. So ang pag-aanak ang baby syempre maagi man hakuan vagina ang mother. So paggawasan baby may daan na talaga hiyakuan. Ito may mga butol-butol nganhi haira partan kuan. So makaluoy talaga kay nagkakaada na talaga herahin virus. So nagkakaada herahin blisters due to congenital herpes. So nakita kami ito ng mga butol-butol. So kay asya kasi ito kita kita ang tiny nga picture na ang mother ang era ari may adanadaan kuan ito na mga ito nga genital herpes. So di ba maagi man an babies baby la siya baby. So asya iton paggagawas nagkakaada na heradaan sakit amitong iba na nakukuan danay mamamatay kay agit it mother may daan naman kuan may sakit naman. So asya ito nangangada ha anak. So dapat kita na after pa. So dapat mga mother be careful laliwat kay kung nagbuburod ka mo so tas nag-aanak ang makaluoy ang iyo mga baby. So dapat sunod magkuan na dapat ka mahin antibodies against the virus para ang baby maging safe nga dumako nga healthy. So let's move on to the last is sexual child abuse. Sexual abuse was documented in 4 of 6 patients. We conclude that genital HSV in children is frequently sexually transmitted and should always be considered a possible indicator of child abuse. Confirmation of SHV infection by culture is important to substantiate suspicious circumstances. since it may occur in the absence of either a history of sexual abuse or of other sexually transmitted disease. So, iniluwat ng sexual abuse, magkakaada talaga kita hin sexual transmitted disease if like mayada kuan, di ba, na-abuse, di ba, nga like may mga bata nga ginre-rape. So diri kita maaram ito ngayon nga lalaki may danahiya daan nga genital herpes. So ang bata kasi malak sila matapnan, so ito yan na nangangadto natatapnan. So ito nagkakaadahin kuan hin genital herpes. So an makaluluoy ang bata kay diri kita maaram nga ito ngayon nga lalaki may gindadara na nga daan nga sakit. So that's all for today. The second reporter is they will discuss about the cause, effects, and etc. So thank you for listening.
So hi everyone, my name is Nerissa May Palermo Caberi and I'm from BTBT GFT1B. So I am from Group 4 and our topic is all about genital herpes. So in this topic, I was assigned to discuss about genital herpes, its cause. So let's come now first to its definition. So genital herpes is commonly common sexual transmitted infection caused by herpes simplex virus or the HSV. So sexual contact is the primary way that the virus spreads. So after the initial infection, the virus lies dormant in your body and can be reactive several. So genital herpes, so this is from having a sexual contact that caused by herpes. So or having genital herpes in our body. So also this also can cause pain, itching, and sores in our genital area. But you may have no sign or symptoms of genital herpes if infected. You can be continuously or contagious even you have no visible sores. So also having a genital herpes or the herpes, so someone can feel pain, itching, and sores in their genital area. So it's caused by having sexual interaction to one another. So let's come now from its causes. So we all know that the cause of having genital herpes or the herpes is having sexual interaction from one another or sexual interaction from female and male. So there are two herpes simplex virus infection can caused by genital herpes. So the first is the HSV1 or the herpes simplex virus 1. So this is the type that usually causes cold sores or fever blister around your mouth. So HSV1 is often spread through skin-to-skin contact. So it can be spread in your genital area during oral sex. So recurrence is much less frequent than they with HSV2 infection. So in HSV1, so these are we can observe if we can see person that having this kind of herpes. So the herpes is around here or his mouth. So this is also spread through skin-to-skin contact, through also in your genital area during oral sex. So that's the HSV1. So it is present or it exists in our outer body parts. So like in our mouth, in different outer part of our body. So the next is the HSV2 or the herpes simplex virus 2. This is the type that commonly causes genital herpes. So the virus spreads through sexual contact and skin-to-skin contact. So also this is very common and highly continuous whether or not you an open source. So in this kind of herpes or the herpes simplex virus 2, so this is having a sexual contact and also to skin contact. So this is also present or exists in our private part of our body, in our genitals. So that's the two kinds of herpes. So because the virus dies quickly outside of our body, so it's nearly impossible to get the infection through contact with toilets, towels, or other objects used by an infected person. So genital herpes or the virus or the herpes is transmissible. So if you use some object that the person used that infected of having a herpes or the genital herpes, so you, the one, will have also an herpes or the virus that carried by that person who used that object that you are also using. So you will be also infected person of having a genital herpes. So we all know that having a genital herpes is because of having a interaction or the sexual interaction to a person from male and female. So that's all. Also, my references about what I have discussed or the information where I did gather what I have discussed now. So that's all. Thank you. Hope you learned something from what I have discussed. Thank you.
So good day everyone. Our topic for today is all about the effect of genital herpes or herpes. Learning objectives. Students learn the definition of genital herpes, the effect of genital herpes to human, the effect of genital herpes to fetus, symptoms of genital herpes, differences and symptom location. Genital herpes is a common sexually transmitted disease or STD that any sexually active person can get. So nakakahawa-hiya. Most people with virus don't have symptoms, even without signs of the disease. Herpes can still be spread to sex partners. The effect of genital herpes to human. Herpes infection can cause sores or breaks in the skin or lining of the mouth, vagina, and rectum. This provides a way for HIV to enter the body. Even without visible sores, having genital herpes increases the number of CD4 cells, or the cells that HIV targets for entering into your body, found in the lining of genitals. Effect of genital herpes to fetus or herpes during pregnancy. So, if a woman with genital herpes has virus present in the birth canal during delivery, HSV or the herpes simplex virus can spread to infant that causes neonatal herpes. Neonatal herpes is a serious and sometimes fatal condition, and a highly contagious virus that can cause cold sores and genital ulcers in adults. So we are now in the symptoms of genital herpes. Pain or itching, pananakit at pangangati. So you may experience pain and tenderness in your genital area until the infection clears. Small red bumps or tiny white blisters. It may appear a few days to a few weeks after infection. Ulcers may form with blisters, rupture at the O's bleed. It may make it painful to when you're urinate. Kapag umiihi ka ay sumasakit. Scabs. Skin will crust over and form scabs as ulcers heal. So during an initial outbreak, you may have flu-like signs and symptoms such as swollen limb, nudes in your groin, headache, muscle aches, and fever. Differences in symptom location. Men and women can develop sores on the buttocks and thighs, anus, mouth, urethra. Women can also develop sores on the vaginal area, external genitals, and cervix, while men also develop sores in or on the penis and scrotum. So sores is a blister, bump, lesion, or ulcer causing anywhere on the body. It may be painful, itchy, red, swollen, or tender to touch. So here is the references.
This is my topic, the prevention. Prevention. The suggestions for preventing genital herpes are the same as those for preventing other sexual transmitted infection. Abstain from sexual activity or limit sexual contact to only one person who is infection-free. Short of that, you can. Use or have your partner use a latex condom during every sexual contact. Avoid intercourse if their partner has an outbreak of herpes in the genital area or anywhere else. Prevention. Because a lot of people have the herpes virus in their body, anyone who is sexual active can be infected with it. But the risk of infection can be reduced significantly. People who have genital herpes are advised to avoid sex as soon as they notice sign that an outbreak is starting. This is because of the risk transmitting the virus is greatest during an outbreak. But the virus can also be transmitted by people who don't have any symptoms. Condoms can greatly reduce the risk of infection during symptom-free periods. They are also protect against other sexual transmitted disease. If you have genital herpes, it's a good idea to talk about with your partner if both of you have a blood test for antibodies. It's possible to find out whether your partner also has herpes virus in their body, what type of herpes viruses you have, and whether there are rest infection. A partner who has HSV1 could still become infected with HSV2, for example. The meaning of HSV2 is a herpes simplex virus. So, ayan, yung HSV, yung meaning. Prevention. People who have genital herpes can somewhat lower the risk of infecting others by taking antiviral medication. Their medication include Oxylover, Famciclover, or Valaciclover. They must be taken daily for a long period of time. Or if you already used condom for contraceptions. It's not clear whenever taking antiviral medication can lower the risk of infection even more. So that could be all. Thank you.
So, good day everyone. By the way, my name is Nelson B. Mascareñas from BTBTED 1B. So, I'm here to talk about the genital herpes. So, genital herpes is a common sexual transmitted infection caused by the herpes simplex virus or HSV. Sexual contact is the primary way that the virus spreads. After the initial infection, the virus lies dormant in your body and can reactivate several times a year. Genital herpes can cause pain, itching, and sores in your genital area, but you may have no signs or symptoms of genital herpes. If infected, you can be contagious even if you have no visible source. So, there is no cure for herpes. However, there are medicines that can prevent or shorten outbreaks. One of these anti-herpes medicines can be taken daily and makes it less likely that you will pass the infection on to your sex partners. Treatments with antiviral drugs can help people who are bothered by genital herpes outbreaks stay symptoms-free longer. These drugs can also reduce the severity and duration of symptoms when they do flare up. Drug therapy is not a cure, but it can make living with the condition easier. There are three major drugs commonly used to treat genital herpes symptoms. First is acyclovir, second is famciclovir, and the last is valacyclovir. These are all taken in pill form. Several cases may be treated with the intravenous drug acyclovir. Acyclovir is used to treat infection caused by certain type of viruses. It treats cold sores around the mouth caused by herpes simplex, shingles caused by herpes zoster, and chickenpox. This medication is also used to treat outbreaks of genital herpes. In people with frequent outbreaks, acyclovir is used to help reduce the number of future episodes. Acyclovir is an antiviral drug, however, it is not a cure for these infections. The viruses that cause these infections continue to live in the body even between outbreaks. Famciclovir is used to treat herpes zoster, shingles, a rash that can occur in people who have had chickenpox in the past. It is also used to treat repeat outbreaks of herpes virus cold sores or fever blasters in people with a normal immune system. Valacyclovir is used to treat herpes zoster, shingles, and genital herpes. It does not cure herpes infections but decrease pain and itching, helps sores to help and prevent new ones from forming. This medication is sometimes prescribed for other uses.